What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Schwartz back again with another Power Up Set deck tech. Today is the third and final one. Me and Carmen are going to be walking through Kill la Kill.
What's up?
Yeah, let's just pop up the deck list real quick. Out of the three, I think Kill la Kill was definitely one of the more challenging ones to build. There's a lot of cards that reference other cards in the set. A lot of like weird marker shenanigans going on, and they still have like the weird fucked up traits, kind of like Haruhi does. So
Yeah, it sounds like old cards. Yeah.
especially the level 0 game. Really not a whole lot going on there, but they did get some cool new tools at the higher levels. So let's take a look at what the updated Kill la Kill deck looks like here. Starting off for level 0s, we got the Clothes, be a Kill la Kill deck without these. The Life Fiber Synchronization Senketsu, global 500 power. When you play it, you can look at the top card of your deck and take it as a marker face down, and then you can send a marker from under this to give 1,000 power to one of your characters. So this is going to be a recurring theme with the Kill la Kill deck. You have a lot of stuff that utilizes the marker zone, and the extra 1,000 power that you can give with this Senketsu is actually kind of handy because, again, like Haruhi, we have a level 1 on reverse combo that does not get additional power from the climax, so having that extra boost is helpful. And then 4 copies of the only clothing Ryuko has in Ketsu, which on play gives 1,000 power, and then on reverse is a Suicider. Neither of these cards is really that impressive, I'd say, on their own, but because these cards you need later on for the higher level cards specifically to use them as markers, is why I went with the full 4 copies of both. Moving on here, we got 4 copies of Kamui Junketsu Satsuki, and this is probably the best level 0 in the set. It's 1,500 power if you have 2 or less stock, and it's a drop surge. So same exact card that Madoka had, and I think a few others. Does Hololive have that card too? I think they do.
Yeah, theirs is just 35 all the time, but it's still like a 3,500 drop search, basically.
I don't know. Hololive has so many good cards they can't even play them all, but
True.
yeah, it's definitely really nice that Kill la Kill has this. Definitely their best card to hold field at level 0, and great blue fix for the deck, and the drop search helps you get what you need. And then 2 copies of Encounter with Senketsu Ryuko. This is your anti-heal in the set. So this card is in your memory. When either you or your opponent would heal, clock to waiting room, that player has to pay an additional 2 stock. Otherwise, they don't heal. They take their damage back. So a lot of, pretty much most modern decks have a big focus on healing starting at level 2 into level 3. So depending on what matchup you go against, this could be a very handy effect. But it's probably not something you're going to send to your memory in every matchup, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get there. So when this card gets reversed, you can pay 1 and discard a card to summon the 1/1 Ryuko from your waiting room and send this card to your memory. I would have considered playing the memory Ryuko without the card it changes into, because the 1/1 it changes into is particularly fantastic. But the fact that you actually have discard a card with this Ryuko, even send it to memory, I feel like you want to at least be getting something out of it. That way you're not like paying stock and minusing. At least you can get something onto the field with it. So, but only 2 copies of each, because you really only need to get 1 of these Ryukos into your memory, and only in certain matchups anyway. And yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get, but definitely worth playing in the deck, I think, because that sort of anti-heal effect is so rare to see printed, and it's just so powerful too, especially against a lot of the modern decks. It's definitely an ace that Kill la Kill has up its sleeve. Moving into our quote-unquote brainstormers, we have 2 copies of this new power-up set card, Family Bonds, Ryuko and Mako. And this, again, we're starting to see the marker synergy in the deck, so you can pay 1 and rest 2 of your characters. First time during a turn when your card is put into your marker area from another zone. Then you get a look at top 4 cards of your deck for any clothes or family character. So kind of like an alternate to a brainstorm, but it like always hits. And thankfully you have a lot of ways to get cards into your marker zones. But I'm splitting this with this other Satsuki here as well, which is 3,000 power if your opponent has 2 or less characters. So it kind of hold board maybe early on in the game, and then it's also just a traditional brainstorm to draw a card as well. Yeah, overall, using the brainstorm effect on the marker card is definitely better when you can get it to happen, but because you can only do it when you have a marker placed on your field, it's nice to have like the Satsuki as like an option you can always do, even if you don't have a way to get a marker, and it's extra blue fix for the deck. And that's it for level 0. Moving on to level 1s, we got the new level 1 combo from Power Up Set, the Scissor Blade Ryuko. So when she has a marker under her, she gets an extra 4,000 power, so she sits at 6k. And when you play her from your hand, you get to choose 1 of the 2 Senketsus from level 0 and put it under her as a marker. And on reverse with this Stock Soul, you salvage character. So again, like I mentioned before, this is only 6,000 power and doesn't get any additional power from the climax. So having the additional power pumps from some of your level 0 cards is a nice way to help ensure that you can get the reverse. reverse. Then the rest of our level 1s here, we have the 1/1 Rampage Ryuko. This is the card that you summon with the anti-heal when you send that to memory. 7,500 big boy, and when it gets reversed, it goes to the bottom of your deck. That's like the drawback from it. But also when you play it from your hand or by the change effect from the anti-heal, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 0 character, it goes to your stock. So it's nice that it can potentially refund the stock cost too. But overall, it's not really a great card. Try to get it into your graveyard early so that it's there whenever you need to, whenever you want to send the anti-heal to your memory. But yeah, after you get one off, you could probably like not feel too bad about sending this to your level zone, like, or clocking it or whatever. 2 copies of Towards a New Self Ryuko, which is the old level 1 combo in the set. I'll talk a bit more about that later, because this has a double combo with a level 3 later on, but I only have 2 copies of this because this one is kind of playing second fiddle to the other Ryuko combo, which is actually a plussing combo. So this is there not so much as like a level 1 combo that you're banking on, but something that on your later turns when you have the level 3, you can maybe get some extra value out of having this card. And then finally, for level 1, we have the 4 copies of the camera event, Junketsu. So what that does is look at the top 4 cards, up to 4 cards from the top of your deck for a clothes character and add it to your hand. These type of events get printed a lot in modern sets, but they usually don't see a ton of play. This is another one of those cards that we're going to be using throughout the game as a marker for our top end combo this time. So that's why I'm maxing out with the full 4 copies here.
Also just pretty
Notably,
good in an old set that doesn't have a lot of deck speed.
Yeah, it's definitely a godsend having just like that extra deck speed. So I would say playing this set compared to a more modern set with this type of card, I'd be probably a bit more careful when you choose to deploy this Junketsu, because you don't have a lot of ways to go through your deck otherwise. Use it when you need it to like really get through your deck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I explained that well, but
yeah, you don't have a lot of just random free deck speed, so you gotta know when playing this event is actually worth it and not just mill to mill.
yeah, that's what I meant to say, but much more eloquently. Thank you.
I try.
Okie doke. Moving into level 2s here. I only got 4 of them. 1 copy of a 3K backup, just because it's something nice to pick up with our salvage effect to protect our early play, which we'll get to in a minute here. And then 3 copies of the level 3 assist Satsuki. All your level 3s in front of it get 2,000 power. Play it, choose a Junketsu in your waiting room, and put it under this as a marker. And then when you play your finisher on a future turn, or I guess on the same turn, whenever, you can send the marker from the Junketsu from under Satsuki to your waiting room. You get an additional marker under your finisher, which is very important and definitely a very nice thing that you can do. This is like really a perfect card they got in the power up set too. Helps your early plays live and helps your level 3 combo hit a nice power level, while also like conserving your markers for later and helping get the Ryuko finisher a critical mass of markers to be useful, where before you kind of just had to do it very slowly. So definitely one of the MVPs the set got with power up. Moving on to our early play here, we have changing into Senketsu Ryuko. So early plays with 2 or less climaxes. When it comes into the field, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, take 1 to your hand, and then climax combo with Door here. When you play the climax, you get to choose a character in your waiting room, add it back to your hand, and this gets 3,000 extra power for the turn. So doesn't heal like a lot of traditional early plays will, but I actually really like the top check 3 effect, specifically for kill to kill. Helps you draw into the climax for the combo. And since you might have trouble getting some pluses at level 1 with that combo, this card being able to draw into a card of your choice when you play it and then salvage another card with combo is like super handy to get your hand size up. And the fact that it's just on your early play you're already playing is just super nice. And this also double combos with that level 1 I mentioned earlier. So the idea here is to play like as many of the early plays as you can, and then in your final lane probably have one of these Ryuko, the level 1 Ryukos, which the level 1 half of the combo is when it attacks, if you have the climax down, it gets an extra 4,500 power. And also when it attacks, you get to, if your level is 2 or higher, which it will be at this point, when you have the early play down, you choose a card in your opponent's waiting room and put it on top of their deck. So basically we'll swing for 10k, and then if you're at level 2, you get to basically put a clean damage on the top of their deck, which is a nice little bit of damage insurance since you're swinging with the climax down for a lot of soul. And I guess there's some niche plays you can do with it too. It's corner cases where maybe they have an important card they're going to need over their refresh and maybe put it on top of their deck so it goes to block. But yeah, mostly you're just putting the card on top of their deck just to get clean damage.
Push some damage.
And swing for 10k. Yep, it's definitely the less important of the 2 combo pieces, so that's why I'm running 4 of the early play and only 2 of that level 1. But it is a nice little bonus to have in the deck. And then finally we are at the Conclusion After Wearing Ryuko. This is the finisher of the deck, and it's not off a climax. So running the level 1 combo into the level 2 combo feels pretty nice when your finisher is not tied to being on a climax anyways. But yeah, this card works with 3 different cards here. So when you play it from your hand, you can take Junketsu, which is the camera event in your waiting room, put it into your memory, and if you do that, choose the only clothing Senketsu in your waiting room, put it under this Ryuko as a marker. And since these effects trigger at the same time as the level 2 Satsuki's effect, when you play it, is what your sequence is going to look like. The Satsuki has the Junketsu marker under it already from playing it earlier. So when you play the Ryuko down, you resolve Satsuki first, send your Junketsu marker to your waiting room, then add a marker from the top of your deck Ryuko. Then you resolve Ryuko's effect to send that Junketsu you just sent to your graveyard to your memory, and then get your Senketsu as a marker. So the fact that the Satsuki can hold your marker on the field over refresh and then have it go to your waiting room to immediately be able to send to memory for the Ryuko's cost is very handy. And this plays into being able to ramp markers onto Ryuko is important for her other effect here, which is at the beginning of your encore step, you can pay 2 and deal X damage to your opponent equal to the number of markers underneath her. So the first turn you have this on your field, you are going to be burning your opponent for 2 if you set it up with the Satsuki. You have the Senketsu under it and whatever card was on top of your deck, so you get a burn for 2. And then on a future turn, you can maybe even burn for more, because her final effect is this card becomes reversed in battle. You can pay 1 and reveal a closed character from your hand and put it under this card as a marker to rest it. So basically, if your opponent runs this over on their turn, you can pay 1 and marker a card from your hand under it to save it, which is going to mean you're going to burn for even more damage next turn as you have more markers. So yeah, it's definitely a super handy card. Really cool finisher, being able to like try to go for a 2-turn. Either you get there on your first turn attacking with it with the burn 2s from your Satsukis and your Senketsus. But even if you don't manage to kill your opponent, if you live back and have another turn, then you can crack back with another combo, which is super dope. Unfortunately, Kill la Kill doesn't really have much ways, if any, to heal. So you kind of just gotta hope you cancel to get another turn with this. But even if you don't get another turn, the fact that you can immediately burn your opponent to the same turn you play it because of the Satsuki assist is very nice in letting you. It's a very good. It makes the card a lot better being able to burn for 2 immediately than having to wait multiple turns to get.
This was like a funny meme, haha joke before, but the fact that this card, like, it was always pay 2 burn 1. Then if your opponent sacked and somehow lived, it was like pay 2 burn 2. And now it's pay 2 burn 2 if my opponent lives, pay 2 burn 3, while eating cards always.
Yeah, so it's a lot more feasible to actually kill your opponent on your kill turn with this. But if they so manage to live and it comes back to your turn and you get another shot at it, then being able to save the Ryuko and add another marker to it is like the clutchest thing ever, pretty much. And here's the whole Kill la Kill deck laid out again. Again, it was kind of hard to brew this one up because there's so many markers that go under like so many different cards and everything kind of works together. I would say you got to be careful about what you're putting into your level zone though. For example, like you don't really have a ton of blue in the deck and you might be tempted to level a Junketsu, but I would say be careful about doing that because again, you need it later on. You need to have multiple copies of this card in your graveyard at the end of the game if you want to resolve multiple Ryukos. Same thing goes for the only clothing Ryuko has, which is the shirt with the orange background. You can level up you can send the black shirt to your level zone, but I would not send any of your orange shirts to your level because again, those are required to have for marker at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think the only other card that I remember seeing in Kill la Kill is like the Mako Musashi. That's like the only other card.
Yep, that was one I was considering putting in there as well. But I figured I kind of wanted to just go all in on the Ryuko stuff because your stuff actually holds board pretty well at the end of the game, and you can probably set up like multiple Ryukos just because of how the Satsuki helps it out. So I kind of just went all in on that instead of trying to like force a third color awkwardly into the deck. Because like I was saying, it looks like at first glance you have a lot of blue, but you got to be careful which blue you're leveling.
Yeah, you can't really level the Junketsu. So it's like -4 blue to your count, which it looks like is like 12. You're actually only on 8. You got to level something else, and you don't really want to level a counter, so it's more like 7 levelable blue cards, which is fine to hit level 3, but you want to be able to play that Junketsu throughout the game, stuff like that. So just something you'll have to manage.
Yeah, I'd say if you wanted to try to fit the Musashis in to help supplement your finisher turn, I would make would be turn the 2 blue Brainstormers and 2 more copies of the yellow,
the marker resonator thing. Yeah.
Then you'd maybe need to make some additional concessions to make sure you have enough blue. But yeah, that's it for Kill la Kill. Thank you all so much for watching this little series put out here. I know a lot of these decks are kind of outdated, but I figured we should put a deck tech for each of them up on the channel. because there's definitely some older players getting back into the game who definitely would want to like see like what a modern version would look like.
Yeah, Andy brought it, like, he's just like, I have 3 slideshows ready to go. We need to record these. I was like, hell yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So this was all Andy.
Unfortunately, though, I mentioned older players maybe getting back into the game, but like you're a newer player and you bought a power up set and you want to like throw one of these decks together. Probably going to be a lot more expensive than you'd hope, because these base sets for Haruhi, Log Horizon, and Kill la Kill have out of print for so long. Some of like the staples you might need from the like earlier pack might be really hard to get, especially for Kill la Kill. There's a lot of Kill la Kill that's locked to that first pack, like the entire like marker package, pretty much.
Weirdly enough, if you are looking for those cards and your locals does allow mixed, the old cards that are extremely expensive in English are probably really cheap in Japanese, and then the power-up cards, now that those exist in English, have a set price. So even though those might be like weird or expensive or something like that because the power-up sets weren't like a super massively printed product, you can easily get the English power-up set and then go get the Japanese older cards if your locals allow it to maybe piece together the deck for a little cheaper. But yeah, the English cards not getting reprinted was pretty unfortunate because it's really hard to get your hands on some of this stuff, specifically Haruhi. My heart goes out to all the people who don't have the old Haruhi cards because those have gone up quite a bit.
Yeah, out of the 3 decks, Kill la Kill and Haruhi are definitely like the expensive ones. Log Horizon's a bit more accessible. And yeah, the print run was probably lower on the power up sets, but at least at the time of recording video, there's definitely plentiful amounts of power up sets for good prices on each player right now. And you only need to buy 1 power up set because it comes 4 copies of every card.
Yep, every single card though. In terms of upcoming stuff, there are more set reviews we got to do. It's hard to find time to record those with the Springfest season because personally I'm traveling a lot, but we will get those ready to go. Always more deck techs, always more stuff like that. I have a couple more ideas for videos, more like the shuffling video. I gotta like script those out and figure out exactly what I'm gonna do those, but gotta put this new mic to work. Get some more of those out there because I know a lot of people like the shuffling videos. More of those like concise topics are on the way.
Yeah, just put your deck right up to the mic and just shuffle. Get that nice shuffling ASMR, that nice waterfall.
Exactly. Then I just that in there like a cat purring.
Yeah.
And with that, Pittsburgh White Sports signing off. We'll see you all in the next one.